This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Earning your degree online doesn't mean you have to go about it alone. At Capella University, we're here to support you when you're ready. From enrollment counselors who get to know you and your goals, to academic coaches who can help you form a plan to stay on track. We care about your success and are dedicated to helping you pursue your goals. Going back to school is a big step, but having support at every step of your academic journey can make a big difference. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode, and I'm really excited about today's guest, Mark Wonderland, coming out of the big, great city of Austin, Texas. He's the founder of Mosaic Media Films, and I'm really happy to have him on to share with the audience successful entrepreneurs, and he's going to talk about video to get conversions and video funnels, and I'm actually growing my YouTube channel right now, so it'll be a great conversation. So Mark, welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I know. Start off by introducing yourself, and I'm really excited to dive into the meat of the convo.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Mark. I'm the owner of a company called Mosaic Media Films here in Austin, Texas, like you mentioned. I have an amazing team of creatives. We're actually Austin's highest rated company on Google with over 100 5-star reviews. We've worked with some amazing local companies and a lot of great brands like Favor, Silicon Labs, Orange Theory Fitness, and a lot of other great companies and businesses within Austin and the greater Texas area. So it's been pretty awesome for sure.
Yeah. One thing that's really interesting, because I was having another conversation with another guest, and she was back in the kind of the blog days and SEO, but now everybody's on social media consuming short form video. How can businesses use video content to triple their conversions?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a variety of different things you can do. And it typically really starts with what is your strategy? How are you getting traffic? How are you converting customers currently? Whether it's existing things or things that you maybe haven't thought of. So the strategy for social media is going to be different than if you have a pay-per-click strategy. It's going to be different than if you have an email campaign and so on and so forth. So on the part of on social, you have to think about video in like the buyer's journey, right? So guiding that customer through the process with a series of videos. So if you're starting on social, and I'm just going to use Facebook and Instagram as an example, right? So the way that you want to do video content on social when it comes to ads is you want to test different angles. Okay. So an angle could be a customer testimonial. It could be a before and after. It could be a feature. It could be a benefit. It could be focusing on a promotion or a sale, some type of offer. So all of these are different types of angles, and you want to try photos. You want to try video content like high end that we do. And then you also want to try more native form, which is the iPhone style that you see, because oftentimes those might even perform better than the high quality stuff we do because people don't realize that they're an ad. So that's the first step in your funnel, is driving that traffic through interrupting people and getting their attention. Then the next step in the funnel is really they've entered your brand. So they've either come to your website or they've come to your landing page. And this is where the type of content that we create really shines, because we're creating a video about your product or your service that's professionally done, that really is designed to be an effective video for 5+ years that tells a story about the company or the product that makes it uniquely different in the eyes of the transformational change that the customer is going to have. So that's really the second type of video in the funnel. And then the third type of video that you want to have is a customer testimonial or some type of social proof video. And depending on if you're selling products or services, this can come in a lot of different forms and fashions. But the main criteria is that you're showing that transformational story and really highlighting to the customer that's watching the video what reluctancy they might have in their mind, and framing that in the form of someone that's had that same reluctancy and they've been able to have success with the product or service. So those are a couple different videos you do, a short funnel, depending on if you're trying to get an opt-in or you're selling a product, that's where you'd have subsequent additional video content. Again, you're trying to increase the speed of trust. You're trying to educate them, and you're just trying to use that rich format of video to really educate and increase that speed of trust, which is so important with today as buyers are just more and more hesitant and more reluctant and more skeptical.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And when we talk about video content, because I know, because there's the one camp is like creating educational videos, like how-to videos or just step by step. And then there's another camp that creates video content like through podcasts where it's like conversations and interviews. Yep. Which kind of video gets more engagement, or which kind of video is better for your marketing strategy?
So a lot of it depends on what platform you're marketing on and the type of community that you have. So short form content, the educational pieces where it's quick information to interrupt them and provide some value is going to be great on short form platforms like Instagram and TikTok and even Facebook, right? Because people are not particularly going out. They don't have a high intent for the information. So that it's going to be a little bit shorter to just capture their attention. Longer form content, like your longer form conversational podcasts, they're going to typically perform better, obviously on podcast platforms and like things like YouTube and Rumble, where people have a higher intent to search for that content or subscribe to that type of education area of expertise. And they want that information and they're going to listen to it or watch it in a little bit different fashion, actively seeking it out opposed to being interrupted.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really insightful. Next question I have for you is, what metrics or indicators should businesses be using to measure the success of their marketing efforts? Is it subscribers? Is it how long is it downloads? Is it how long people are watching it? Just enlighten us.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple different metrics that are good. If you're going to go all out on YouTube and you're trying to get those metrics, so subscribers is a good indicator. And then also retention, right? So how long are they watching it? Are they being fully engaged and stuff of that nature? Typically when you're on YouTube, you're trying to capture an audience and they're trying to lead them to something. So sometimes it's sponsorships. Sometimes it's really a lead magnet. So if you're a local business, it might be educating on your area of expertise and then sending them to some type of lead magnet, which is some people call them value bombs now. That's the new name for them. But basically it's providing something of high value that they could get instantly. And it provides some great information to them that they would typically pay for. And then you're getting them into a list, and that is considered a conversion, right? So you've got them engaged, you have their email address, they've shown what we call a micro conversion. So they're investing something, which is their email address. And that's giving you permission to basically market to them over time. So if and when they're ready to take that next step into an ascending purchase, then build trust over time. And that's really an effective way to market. So another thing too is metrics is what is the level of engagement you're getting, right? So you could post these in educational style videos that you create, 3 tips to this or 4 things to this or whatever the case may be. And you can basically build up what's called the retargeting audience. So I'm going to use Facebook and Instagram as an example, right? So you're going to say, we're going to post 10 different videos. I want this to show this to my market. That's an ideal market that's going to find value in this. And anyone that interacts with the video, likes, shares, comments, or clicks on the link and goes to my website, I want to collect all those people and I want to put them into a bucket called retargeting. Now, once you've reached 1,000 people, then you can start feeding that audience other valuable content. So it could be a little bit more specific. Like now, since they've engaged with that, now let's send them a lead magnet where we can capture their information, provide value over time and so on, or give them a special offer to our product or service. So video just gives you the ability to connect with audiences more effectively than images or text typically can. And that's why it can be really powerful throughout your entire funnel or your marketing strategy as a whole.
Ready to launch a career and future you can be proud of? Welcome to Merrill, where an industry-leading advisor training program will help you get licensed. And with lead gen support from Bank of America's vast customer base, you'll get the referrals you need to establish your own practice. It's time to see your career charge forward with Merrill. Apply now at careers.bankofamerica.com. Copyright 2024 Bank of America Corporation.
So what's it like to buy your first cryptocurrency on Kraken? Well, let's say I'm at a food truck I've never tried before. Am I gonna go all in on the loaded taco? No, sir. I'm keeping it simple, starting small. That's trading on Kraken. Pick from over 190 assets and start with the $10 in your pocket. Easy. Go to kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
Yeah. Another adjacent question for you is, because you mentioned one of the videos in the funnel is testimonials. So how should a proper testimonial video include? What should not include? What are some common mistakes that people use when trying to use testimonials?
Yeah, that's such an excellent question because testimonials are so incredibly powerful. And a lot of it depends first, foundationally, what type of business you are, right? So if you're a B2B or you're a B2C, there's going to be a little bit different dynamic in the way you produce it. But fundamentally, the types of questions you ask are going to be somewhat similar, right? So let's just take one at a time. So if you're a B2B company, you're typically doing higher ticket items. You want a little bit more professional look and feel. So you can do one of two things. You'd hire a company like us. We'd come in, we'd tell a compelling story about your customer's journey, and you can use and leverage that content on your website through various types of marketing and use it for sales enablement tool to overcome objections and use for pitches, right? So it's really powerful. So we could come in and do that. Alternatively, we do what's called a remote testimonial approach where we're interviewing people similar to this, except a little bit higher quality, where you conduct a 20 to 30 minute interview. We consolidate that down in a professional way to a 1:30 video, and then a couple social cuts. Again, leveraging that through marketing, strategically through sales enablement and stuff of that nature. It gives customers a lot more bang for their buck. It's more cost effective and less time consuming on their client. So that's the best way to do it for a B2B. When it comes to B2C, let's say you're just a local company and like you're a dentist or doctor. A lot of times it's really easy to just interview people on the phone. Or if you're selling consumer product goods, it's really good to just do it on the phone. And they're short, concise, stuff of that nature. And you can coach customers as to what you want them to say. But the idea is that you could do it either yourself or you could partner with a company like us that will help distill that information down, still provide a professional look and consolidate it. Now, structurally, the way that you want to do this is you want to show a transformational change. Okay, so that is, where were you at before the company was in? What did life look like? And then how did you discover them? And what was your experience like? Okay. Then you also want to reiterate what was some hesitancy before you purchased, right? So what was that objection that you had? I was scared it's going to cost too much money. I was worried it's going to take a lot of time. I was not really wanting to switch providers. Whatever the case may be, you want to address that in the video. Not only do we address that in the main video, but we make that what we call a micro video where we just have them say, what was your hesitancy? How did you overcome that? So it would sound like, at first, I was really concerned about working with Chris because it was a lot more than I was traditionally looking to spend. However, after speaking with him and working through the process, it's the best investment I made because I've been able to 3x my money in a matter of 4 months, which has been a game changer for our company. And we've been able to do X, Y, and Z. So that alone is a great micro story because it's really addressing the heart of what the person watching the video is really thinking in their mind. Those are some great ways to approach it from a B2B, a B2C, and then ultimately how you want to structure your video, no matter whether you're B2B or B2C, how you want to create that content.
And where does the skill of video storytelling, because to keep people engaged, how do you use video, this strategy to convey a business's unique message and draw people in?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we do the most of, about 72% of our business, is what we call a brand story video or a business promo video. Some people call it a company video. They'll have different names for it, but essentially it's the same thing. It's telling a compelling story about who you are, what you do, and what makes you uniquely different. It usually will have some type of in-person narrative documentary style interviews. It's very casual with the customers and with the staff itself. It'll have live action footage showing your process and then illustrating that. And it'll also have some type of animation that helps reinforce the information. So this type of story is typically about 2 minutes in length. And the way that the biggest mistake people make when they work with companies is it's usually all about them. And I say a story about you, but it's really not a story about you as much as it is a story about your customer's journey. So you're addressing what is the problem or the pain in the market, or the problem or pain that they have. How do you address that? And what does life look like? What is what makes your process uniquely different? And what have other people said about their experience working with you? And what is their life ultimately going to look like? Because again, you're doing the same thing. You're telling that transformational change because that's what people want. The thing is, people already have a story in their mind. And when they're trying to connect with a business to help solve that problem that they have, they're telling themselves the story that when I work with them, they're going to help me do X, Y, and Z, which is going to help me feel this way. And it's going to help change the way I look, feel, act, the way that I, am recognized in my business, whatever the case may be. That is the ultimate goal of that video, is to help illustrate what their life is going to look like when you work with them.
Fascinating. I know your time is very valuable. I know you have to move on to the next meeting, and I have two more questions. First one is, where does AI and Gen AI fit into all of this with videos and funnels and marketing and all of this fantastic conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what AI can help with right now is really generating ideas and creativity from the perspective of, let's talk about, give me 10 different angles on how we can create different video content that's going to resonate with our specific audience, right? So then you can really tailor it towards that. And that helps you generate creative ideas, test different things as far as what works. And then it will help you generate different headlines, different thumbnails, different body copy that you can really start to build on success to find out what is really connecting with your audience and how you can decrease your overall ad spend and increase conversion. Now, the types of videos that we create, you really can't do through AI because we're physically going out to their location. We're interviewing the people. We're filming their location. And right now, Rent can't really do that with AI. So it's really about what we're creating is that one-to-one human connection. Not only is it what makes you different, but it's increasing the speed of trust. So people get to know you before they know you. So if you're a dentist or you're a doctor and things like that, it's really, who am I going to be working with? What does the staff look like? What is the experience working with this doctor? Is this the type of person that I'm going to want to trust with my procedure, or someone I can go to month after month? And that's really where we do a really good job, or other video production companies, in making that connection, that human connection one-on-one, and getting for people to know you before they actually know you.
Yeah, it's almost like your strategy is actually so that you cannot get replaced by the AI, because AI can be doing a lot of things, but they cannot replicate like humans at this point, at least. And
I think there's going to be some neat things with AI as far as movies are made, and like visual storytelling as far as that, because you're creating these fictional characters and you could prompt each shot and each sequence and the music. And there's so many creative things you can do from that. So I think there's going to be great opportunity for people that are aspiring filmmakers and want to create short form or long form content that like typically would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce. Whereas the stuff that we're doing, we're trying to tell genuine, authentic stories of humans about their business and how they're creating change in people's lives. And then also looking at it from the perspective of like marketing, like how can we connect with the audience in an effective way that increases conversion, that helps the most amount of people, and provides an ROI for the business.
Yeah. Final question. What are some of the latest trends? I'm always looking on the cutting edge, that we should be aware of, B2B or B2C going into 2025? How is video marketing going to change or adjust or adapt?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think some of the trends that we're seeing right now is, obviously the big one is the AI stuff. So using and leveraging technology to enhance how you connect with people, using that to generate different creative ideas, because sometimes it's tough just to get the ball rolling, and then using it as an effective tool to find out what trends. A lot of times just on TikTok and things like that, you can increase your viewership by trending music. Having videos that have the trending music in it will help show it to more people, get more viewership, and increase conversion. So those are some things I think are going to be constantly evolving every day. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how we can adapt as a video production company to help clients with that.
Oh, yeah. The one kind of question that popped into my mind is, how does short form video, vertical video how do you think like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, these types of platforms are going to evolve, or what's going to foresee the trends, or that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think the vertical video is really fascinating because it really spawns from the phone, and that's where it starts. And that's why I mentioned earlier, if you're doing a social media strategy in your local company, don't be afraid to just create that native style video content and really get out there and create videos, whether it's getting short form interviews with your customers and there's just one or two questions and you can turn that into a video. Don't make the mistake of doing a full blown 20-minute interview and then trying to cut that up. You're in the business to do your business and not be a video editing company. I think that's where we're going to see the trends continue with shorter form content. It's so interesting because short form content is really important and you just have to do tons of volume of it. And then there's long form content like podcasts and stuff where people will sit down and really take in a lot of information. So it's all about the level of interest and where people are at on what platform they're engaging on. One thing to keep in mind, no matter whether you're doing short form or long form, is you have to get the eyeballs on it. So you really want to back whatever strategy you're doing, whether it's a funnel system, whether it's short form, whether it's long form, or any other type of advertising, you need the eyeballs on it. And you can get that through either putting dollars into boosting or doing ads. You can look at partnerships or other ways to really get the eyeballs. Because oftentimes what'll happen is if you invest in content, you equally want to invest in the ads, right? So we work with a lot of home builders within the Austin and Texas area. And we've had great success with them on some of the short form and long form content, simply because they're boosting their posts, they're running ads, and they're getting infinitely more engagement on the video content. Like we work with a client I had a meeting with the other day, and they said, when we boost a photo, it'll usually get about 240 views, a little bit of engagement. When we spend the same amount of money and boost a video that you guys have done, we'll get 3,000. So it's getting more viewership, it's getting more engagement, and that leads to more link clicks that goes to the website, and you can build up a retargeting audience and so on and so forth. So it's really powerful to not only create the content, but also put some advertising dollars behind it to get the targeted eyeballs so you can reach your overall marketing goals.
Yeah, really fascinating. A really interesting conversation. And how can people find you and talk about why businesses should choose a professional production company over a do-it-yourself approach for video marketing? And how can they work with you, reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are in the Austin area, but we serve kind of companies nationally in a lot of different ways. They can reach out to us going to mosaicmediafilm.com. They can set up a one-on-one call to strategize with myself or someone from my team. Alternatively, there's a great page on our website for resources. It's just mosaicmediafilms.com/resources. There's videos, downloadable guides, quizzes, other great content. If you're thinking about video and don't know where to start, that's a great place.
Yeah, really fascinating. And for the audience, be sure to reach out to Mark's, give his social info, check out his company, and be sure to ask or work with a professional production company. And I really enjoyed this conversation. And thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks again for having me.